Hey guys, so we are going to be creating a webinar poster in this video, and your webinar flyer should not look boring in 2022. So I'm going to show you how to create beautiful webinar poster. So let's get started, guys. So the first thing we want to do is we want to click on create design. I want to choose the dimension with which we'll be working. So in this time around, I'm going to be working with the Instagram portrait dimension, which is 1080 by 1350. Here it is. So welcome to our workspace, guys. So the first thing that I want to do is I want to give my workspace, or let's say the background of my poster, a color. In this video, we are going to be working with gradient pink and purple a lot, and a lot of white too. Okay, so I'm going to go to photos and I'm going to search for pink purple gradient. So as you can see, you have just probably one or few other, if you scroll down, that are free. Most of them are for pro users, but we are going to be using the free one. But in case you do not see the one you like, you can always go on Google and search for any gradient texture that you want. All right, save it on your device and then upload on Canva. So this time around, I'm just going to pick this and I'm just going to drag it. Okay, so I'm just going to drag it. Now this is too dark for my liking, so I'm just going to be manipulating this a little bit by touching the transparency. Okay, so now that we've moved the transparency to 65, I believe it's looking better. I'm kind of liking the way it is now. Okay, so we are done with our background. All right, the next thing we want to do is we want to create the headshot of our webinar host, the person hosting the webinar. The person's image is supposed to be on your webinar poster. All right, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to create another page. This is to allow me to have enough space to work. All right, and then the next thing I want to do is I want to bring in a circular frame. Frame allows you insert image into shape. Okay, so then the next thing is I'm going to bring in another pink gradient color. So let's check out gradient pink, and you have loads of them, but most of them are not free. Okay, so you can always go on Google and search. All right, so I'm just applying filters to get more options. Okay, because I'm actually using the pro version of Canva, so I think I love this. So I'm just going to insert this. Yes, this is beautiful. Then the next thing I want to do is I want to go to elements again and I want to bring another shape, circle. So this depends on how thick you want the circular frame to look like, because we are trying to create a frame of our own. All right, so it depends on you. You can decide to reduce this so that your frame looks a little bit bigger. All right, so but I'm good with this, and make sure that it's properly aligned. All right, so I want to change that color to white. This is beautiful, guys. So the next thing I want to do is I want to group this together. As you can see now, I can easily drag any of them, drag both of them anywhere I want them to be. So the next thing that I want to do now is I want to bring in the image of our webinar host. So we are going to be working with this image. Is free. The name is Woman in Blue Blazer Smiling. So you can just go search for that. Okay, the first thing you note here is that this image has a background, and we do not need the background because of the kind of effects that I want to create. I don't need the background. All right, so I am just going to click here and remove the background. But for you, on the other hand, using free version of Canva, you don't have anything to worry about. You can just go on Google, search for woman smiling in blue blazer. You see a lot of pictures. All right, save it on your mobile device or on your system, then go to your browser again and search for remove BG. or remove.bg. That is a platform online that allows you to remove the background of your image. But note that whenever you remove the background of your image on remove.bg, it reduces the quality of your image. So make sure that when you are uploading your image on Canva and you're using it to create your content, you do not zoom it out too much, something like this. So you want to make sure that the image, you don't zoom it out if you remove the background on remove.bg. all right. So in this case, since I'm using Canva Pro, I'm just going to remove the background. Okay, so if you are a pro user, you can also remove your background with just a click. But if you are a free user, do not worry yourself, do not be bothered. It's as easy as ABC. I describe how to go about some of these things in the first video, how you can go on Google and search for any image you want. Just make sure that you search for a good image and it does not have watermark, and you are good to go. Okay, so now that I have my image, so the next thing I want to do is I want to duplicate this image. Okay, I'm just going to have, because I'm still going to use it. Okay, so what I'm trying to create is the kind of headshot where you have the head popping out of the frame. That's the kind of effect that I want to create. So I'm just going to go back. So now I'm going to bring back my circle frame again. Okay, so you can decide to make it the same size, depends on your choice, but this time around I'm making it the same size, so that by the time I insert this image, it's going to have this white background. All right, now as you can see, guys, it's having a white background, right? If you are not creating the kind of effects that I want to create, you might not even need to remove the background. Take note of that. But because I want to create a particular effect, I need the image to be on a transparent background. Double click, you'll be able to crop your image into anything you want. All right, so I'm just going to drag this the way I want it to be. I'm just going to drag it and think I'm satisfied like that. So now that we are here, I'm just going to bring this over. All right, and I'm just going to place it carefully. Make sure that it's properly placed. To learn more about these effects, then you want to enroll for my Canva paid classes. Then you learn how to do things like this. So the next thing I want to do is I want to unlock this. Okay, because if I don't unlock, I won't be able to, group all the images together. So I'm going to group. Now I have this in one single image, right? So the next thing I want to do is I want to copy, and I'm going to place it here. Okay, and I'm just going to reduce it a little bit. Now that I'm done with the headshots, I'm just going to go ahead and work on my background a little bit. Okay, so I'm going to be using a circle shape. Okay, so I'm just going to place this a little bit here, and I'm going to change the color to white. Perfect. So I'm going to go back to elements. Okay, and I'm going to be working with this. So I'm just going to drag it. Now I'm just going to place this in a unique way. Okay, that's perfect. Now that we are done with that, I'm going to drag this and I'm just going to position it forward. Okay, so I'm just going to bring it here. Just place it anyhow you want to place it. It all depends on you. And notice that I'm making sure that everything is properly aligned. You can see, okay, everything must be properly aligned. All right, that's good. Then I'm going to be using like a label to display the name of our webinar host. Okay, so this is a ribbon banner label, is free, so I'm just going to work with this. So I'm just going to place this somewhere around here, and I'm going to be bringing in my text box. All right, so in this case I'm going to be working with both popular and unpopular free Canva fonts, so you can just take notes. So first thing is speaker. So when you are creating a webinar poster, you want to make sure that you had the name of the speaker, and even if it's more than one person that will be speaking in the webinar, you want to make sure that you have all their names, their images on the poster. All right, so I'm just going to reduce this, and I'm going to change the fonts. So I'm going to be working with Code Pro. Just going to position it properly. Okay, so I'm going to be bringing in another text box now to display the name of our host. Okay, so I'm just going to place it here. So now that we are done with that, the next thing we are going to do is we are going to add the title or whatever the webinar is all about. We need to add that information. Is it a webinar about online marketing? Is it a business webinar? Is it an online class? You want to make sure that you add that information. So for this webinar poster, it's a business webinar, so I'm just going to be adding business, and then I'll just copy and paste and type webinar. All right, so I'm going to be styling my fonts now. So you can also use a different font like Poppins. So I'm just going to click on this, and I'm going to make it bold, and then I'm going to click on effects. Okay, and I'm just going to reduce this a little bit. So we are going to change the color to white. Okay, now that I've changed the color, I think I need to make it a little bit thicker. Yeah, then we are going to style webinar, and I'm going to be using this font. You can always use any font of your choice, so it's not necessary that you use the same font as I'm using. You can use Antonio Bold to represent this, Lee Gothic. All these fonts are free fonts on Canva. All right, so I'm going to be copying and pasting webinar. I'm just going to be repeating the same effects that I had for business. All right, and this time around I'm going to make it black. So I'm just going to drag it on it. Now that we are done with this, let's add the information on when they can begin to register for the webinar. So we say registration starts now. Okay, registration starts now. So we are going to be changing that font to Antonio Bold. Okay, I'm just going to bring this here. Just going to bring it here, and I'm going to go to my elements, and I'm going to bring square in, a square shape, or you could use a rectangular shape, anyone. Okay, all right, and I'm going to change the color of my fonts to white. Okay, now that we are done with that, the next information we need to add on her poster is the venue. We all know that it's going to be an online event, but on which platform? Is it on Google Meet? Is it on Zoom? So you want to specify that. Then you are also going to specify the date and the time. All right, so that is the next thing we are going to be doing right now. So I'm going to specify the venue is going to be on Zoom. Okay, so I'm just going to copy and paste this, and the date is 4th of May 2022. All right, and then we are going to add the time will be 7 p.m. okay. All right, as you can see that I'm trying to make sure that everything is properly aligned. Then the next thing we want to look at is the font size. This is 25.7, so we just make it 26, and we do the same for every other one. So this is 26 already, and this is 26 already. Okay, so we need to change this to 26. I'll change this to 26 as well. Now that we are done with that, we are going to bring in another text box, and we are going to write venue. Okay, and we are going to place it gently here. All right, so I'm just going to copy and paste and repeat same for others. This is dates, and then I'm just going to copy and paste again and place here. All right, and this is time. So the next thing I want to do is I want to align this properly, so I'm going to align this. I'm going to leave this in the middle. So I'm going to align it to this to the other side, and I'm going to do the same for here. Now that we are done with this, the next thing I want to do is I want to bring in a frame, and I'm going to be working with this particular frame. So you can just go to frame and look for this particular frame there. So you can position it any way you want it. It all depends on you. Okay, so I'm going to fill in with color, and I'm going to make it white. I'm just going to make sure it's at the back. Now we need to change her font color to black. So carefully click on them and change all the colors. Yes, so now that we are done with that, we need to add information on where on any of our social media platform they can register. So in this case, we're just going to tell them to click the link on our bio. Click the link on our bio. Let's specify Instagram bio to secure your spot. Okay, and then we are going to make sure that it is properly aligned. Now that we've added that information, I'm just going to add something. We are going to reduce it. You're going to bring it here and reduce it further, then place here, and then you can drag to the end. All right, and then you can change the color. Let's change the color to pink. Okay. Okay, you can also add the website information if there's a website. Okay, so you can just add the website. Let's say dot brand elevation .com. Okay, so I'm going to place this here, and I'm just going to be editing the font, and I'm going to be changing it to Poppins. Okay, Poppins, since it's a free font, so I'm going to change it to Poppins, and I'm just going to make this information bold. Now that it's bold, I need to adjust it a little bit. Okay, and that's that. Now the next thing is we just want to style this area of our poster, so we can start with this. It's hexagon shape icon. So first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to reduce it. It becomes thinner as I reduce, which is the effect that I actually needed. Okay, color, and I'm going to be looking for something lighter. Yeah, that's good. And I'm just going to work on the transparency a little bit because I want it to blend in with my background. And now that I'm done, I'm going to copy and paste, and I'm just going to place it around here. Okay, then the next one I'll work with this. Okay, I'm going to reduce it, and I'm just going to place it somewhere around here. I'm also going to be using the same color and the same effects. Okay, so I'm going to copy and paste, and I'm going to place that here. So I can decide to drag this a little bit further. Okay, and now that we are done with all this information, something else I want to add is you can decide to add the company that is presenting or sponsoring the webinar. If there's someone sponsoring, you can decide to say brand elevation presents. Okay, so it's Poppins. I can make it bold, brand elevation presents business webinar. Okay, and the next thing I just want to do is I want to make this a little bit bigger. All right, so here we are, guys, and this is our beautiful webinar poster. So you can also decide to add your logo. You can decide to add your logo here anywhere you want it. So just type logo here. If that's the place you want it. Okay, or if you want it here, so let's just leave it here. Okay, and guys, we are done with our poster. So you can download as a PDF or as PNG, anyone you want, guys.